recording.
Hey everybody, Sean again. This is from about 6 years ago, and I was biking home from work. I used to work in River North, right across the street from the merchandise mart. Oh, look at the beagle. Oh, I love beagles. I have one. Her name's Lola. She's a sweetheart. But as I was saying, I used to work in River North until we moved to Michigan Avenue. And we're looking to move again, apparently, by next summer, because with the pandemic and people working from home, it looks like they're trying to downsize a bit, save some money, which is fine. I don't mind working from home. It means I'm not on my bike nearly as much as I used to be, but hey. Yes, Hubbard Street. This is in that district where you can't... Oh, I missed one. There was a guy going the wrong way in my own lane. Huh. So, we'll see if that makes a difference, though, in the final score. But that's the part of town where you look in the window of a business and you're not sure if it's a furniture store or an art gallery. It's a fun little game to play when you're walking around River North. Art gallery or furniture store? Sometimes one and the same. Oh, one time when I was riding on Franklin Street, right around here, a wrench fell from the tracks and hit me in the head. Another reason you should wear a helmet when you're biking.
It's on at Wells and over North Street, usually well, actually, this is Franklin.
Yeah, I'm narrating in the recording. What do you know?
It's going the wrong way, all that good stuff.
It can be busy there this time of day, but usually it was pretty uneventful, which is really what you want if you're on a bike. Or really in any situation, I guess, bike or not. I had to take a drink there. It's a hot day when I'm recording this, having some raspberry lemonade. Very tasty stuff. As I said in my previous video, a couple of reasons you'll see people easily out-cycling me, and, oh, there's a violation right there. The reason is I ride a hybrid, well, one reason is I ride a hybrid bike, which is a little bit heavy, well, much heavier than a street bike. And I don't think at least they don't accelerate as fast as street bikes. And also, when I'm going through city streets, especially downtown, I don't want to go too fast. It's too much. It's just too risky. And I got to clear my throat here. I apologize if I don't delete it from the audio. Excuse me, I have to clear my throat a lot. Well, I'm gonna hit that guy. Oh, never mind. The wide, rounded angle of, well, not angle, but lens on the camera that I use makes things look a little bit off. So. See, being a nice guy, I gave that cyclist a little pass there. Just because we couldn't see, so no additional points against the cyclists. Is this Chicago? Yeah, this has to be Chicago Avenue. Well, the caption will tell us. Yeah, it's got to be Chicago. Yeah. Here I am walking my bike. Waiting for clearance for a right turn. This doesn't look like a very bike-friendly street, but I never had a problem on Chicago Avenue. But then again, whenever I've taken Chicago Avenue, it was usually only for a block, because this was Franklin Street that I just left, which is 300 west on the Chicago grid, and I'm going over to Wells to make a left turn, and Wells is 200 on the city grid, so that's one city block right there. And when I make a left turn, I usually just cross over and then turn into the intersection and then go straight. It's a lot safer than just flat out trying to make a left turn in traffic. So that's what I'm doing here. You can see that I'm kind of hobbling along, and then I'm going to kind of make a little loop right here. And now I'm on Wells, and I'm going to turn around and face the direction I want to go. So yeah, it's not probably as quick as making a left turn, but I feel much safer doing it this way. Diehard bike advocates are going to say, it's your right to do that, so do it. Well, yeah, but my rights do not supersede my safety. My bike and I, I'll put it to you this way. A car weighs several tons. My bike and I weigh fewer tons. I'm a pretty heavy guy, which is one reason I got a bike, was in hopes that I can shed some of my heaviness. So far, hasn't worked. I should give it time, though. It's only been 7 years that I've been riding my bike. Windy days, you can hear. In case that caption went away too fast for you, basically I was saying that that guy who made that left turn, yeah, he was going the wrong way in another lane of traffic, but the thing is, it was absolutely totally clear. There was no traffic coming, and he was only in there long enough just to make that turn. So I'm gonna let that one slide. Sometimes I do try to go fast on this stretch of Wells Street, because usually it's not terribly busy. So I'm probably pedaling as fast as my fat ass can pedal here into this wind. How fast? I don't know. I don't use a speedometer. There's Peyton Prep High School on the left. Sometimes if I'm riding here during a school day or where there's after-school activities, it can be a little bit of a pain, but it's not terrible. It doesn't look like I stopped. Trust me, I stopped. Just when you have your camera attached to handlebars and your bike is like constantly moving, or you're moving your handlebars, it looks like it might not be stopping, but trust me, it was. Coming up soon, though, there's going to be a stop sign that I run right through, and there's an explanation for that, but the fact is, it's still against the law. I'm still counting it against cyclists. But my logic is, these rules are there for safety. So I'm thinking, is it safe to proceed through that one sign? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. We're getting there. I think it's on Division. Is it Division? Yeah, there's a car that didn't have to be as far over that it was cutting into the bike lane, so I dinged that one. This is not the stop sign I was talking about, by the way. It's a little further north in Old Town when you get to the more busy part. Oh, that caption didn't stay up long at all, but what I was saying was that given that those two who just passed me were probably... Oh, here's the stop sign that I ran. It's at a T intersection, and because of where I was there was no way that... Oh, there's the explanation right there. But yeah, that one I usually just go through if there's nobody coming from the left because there's nobody on the right side because it's a T intersection. Fact remains, it's still against the law, still a violation, so I dinged myself for that one, but I always stop this one here. I don't understand how people can just zoom right through this because this is a busy intersection right here. And I forgot what I was explaining about that fast caption. Well, you can always back it up and pause it. Man, that microphone in the camera picks up everything. What I really wish it would have was a microphone input port so you could just plug a microphone in yourself. That way I could put like a little lavalier or something right on my helmet. Okay. Yeah, that bugs me to no extent when people are riding their bikes in the traffic lane when there's a very available bike lane. I mean, if there's reason for it, like there's no traffic coming anyway and you're about to make a turn or something, that's one thing, but in this case, that was clearly not the case. Tweet, tweet. Oh, I don't know if it was there back then, but now there's a French cafeteria right by there called La Fournette. I highly recommend the croque monsieur there. It's very tasty. The problem with that place is I tried to drop a tiny bit of my high school French that I remember. First time I went there, I said, well, what did I say? I said, merci, bonne journée, which means, thank you, have a good day. And when you speak French to a francophone, that person assumes that you're fluent, so this guy just kept going, oh, so I felt stupid. Really, why do people blow these stop signs in Old Town? There's always going to be a car there. Always. It's very dangerous. And against the law. I mean, seriously. Seriously, safe or not, when people see us running stop signs, they're not thinking, oh, it's probably safe. They're probably thinking, bikes are supposed to follow the same rules as cars. So really, people, if you want motorists on our side, you gotta fucking follow the rules. It's not hard, trust me. Oh, but I need to get where I'm going. Then leave earlier, or otherwise allow yourself more time. But I don't have that much time. Then take a bus, or drive, or take a train or something. Getting people against us is not the way to go, alright? Sorry. Not sorry. Alright, this looks really, really tight and dangerous, but the truth is, every time I go through this stretch of Lincoln Avenue, I feel perfectly safe. Once in a while, you get somebody who opens a car door because they don't think to check. Excuse me. Yeah, I hate when people pass really close to me and don't give a warning, so that I'm dinging you for. By the way, motorists, if you're right next to or behind a bicyclist, please do not honk your horn unless absolutely necessary to, like, prevent danger or something, because last thing you want to do is startle someone to the point where they fall off their bike right in front of your car. That's not going to be cool. Yeah, that is a dumb thing to do, cross without a crosswalk in a busy street like Lincoln Avenue. During rush hour. Oh, the raspberry lemonade. Yeah, and other cyclists, by the way, fellow cyclists, if you're going to pass somebody and you're like right up against them, give them a warning that you're about to be coming up right against them, please. Just say, do what I do. I say, hey, I'm passing on the right, passing on the left. Well, if you're passing on the right, you're an asshole. Pass on the left, please. Every time I pass the Park West here, I get a little bit emotional because I think of August of 2005. I lived in Jersey, but my wife and I were in town doing... We used to do two visits to Chicago every year before we moved here. And while we were in town, Brian Wilson's Smile show in Clio, Michigan got canceled and rescheduled for the Park West. And we pounced on those tickets so fast. That was totally an unexpected surprise. And a friend of ours was in the very front of the line when we got there. And he saw us. He said, "Show to Lisa. Here, join me in line." And nobody complained either. So we were the second and third people in. And we ran all the way up to the stage to find our seats. And where we were sitting, my wife was able to touch Brian Wilson's keyboard stand. And that was a great show, too. Yeah, red light. The light was red. Alright, maybe I shouldn't have counted that against the pedestrian because I think the general rule is if the pedestrian is in the crosswalk, the pedestrian has the right of way, period. But at the same time, it was going against the light and there's oncoming traffic, so that was really dumb. You get a ding. And I'm just gonna squeeze by here, in between the cars, in between the cars. Bet you if that cyclist who ran the red light saw a car doing the same thing, even if there was clearance, that dude would raise holy hell. I guarantee you. Clear my throat again, sorry. Man, it really sucks when you normally have to clear your throat a lot anyway, but man, after you choke on some misrouted lemonade, that really screws things up. Note to self, drink better. I'm just gonna say I don't like the 36 bus. Just something kind of slimy about it. I don't quite know how else to describe it. I try to avoid the 36 bus. I'll take the red line, or which, yeah, isn't all that much better, or the 22 bus. Really dumb. forgot what Byline Bank used to be called. Was it BMO Harris, or is that the new name? An even newer name? I don't remember. Harris Bank, I think that's what it was called. Oh yeah, here's the intersection where I almost got run over because some guy decided to turn right in the left lane, and then he yelled at me for not yelling loud enough. He didn't have a turn signal either. So please, everybody, use a turn signal. If you're on a bike, use a turn signal. Now point to the left, point to the right, so we know you're about to turn. If you're in a car or other motor vehicle, use your blinker. It's not hard. I do it all the time. That's what she said. Yeah, another car that for some reason is partially into the bike lane. Come on. Really, if you have room, just move into the space completely. You wouldn't do that if the lane were trafficked by motor vehicles, would you? Yeah, here I might actually be in that right part. Oh, not anymore. Yeah, when I see a car with lights on, I basically assume that those doors are going to open, and I try to move over if I can, and if I can't, I will slow down, just to lessen potential impact. In 7 years, I've never been doored, and I know by saying that, I'm going to get doored as soon as I walk out of this room, even though I'm not on a bike. Oh, I missed the red eye. Well, with this new hedge fund running the Tribune, there's no way in hell the red eye is coming back. Oh, there's a... Why did I not ding? Oh, it might be that the vehicle was either getting into the space or getting out of the space, so I can't really definitively ding it for being slightly in the bike lane there. That's probably why. Oh, this intersection right here is prime bikers running red lights territory, but here the light was green, so there was no points issued against anybody here. And I gotta clear my throat yet again. Yay. There. Yeah, Wiener Circle right there. Can't see what the sign says, unfortunately. But, oh well. You gotta be really careful when you're biking past that McDonald's. Oh, that Best Buy, it's a Target now. But people will pull out of that McDonald's without looking where they're going. You gotta be really careful there. If you're in a car, too, actually. And the intersection of Clark and where it splits off into Diversey on the, or where Diversey is the cross street. Clark on the left, Broadway on the right. And I will probably be looking at these posters, checking to see if Love and Mercy is still playing in the theater there, because that was the first place I paid to see it. Love that movie. To this day, when I'm it's six years later, when I'm biking past there, I still look at the posters to see if Love and Mercy is there. Doesn't matter that I have it on Blu-ray. Still want to see if it's there. McKillip is a terrible name for an animal hospital. Just have to say that. Seriously, call it something else, people. Nobody wants to take their dog somewhere with the word kill in its name. there's a 22 bus. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but my experience is that if you're trying to catch a 22 bus, you're going to be waiting for like half an hour. But if you're on a bike, you're going to pass a 22 bus every 3 seconds, practically. There was one time when I kept meeting the same 22 bus at every red light, and the bus driver pulled his window down and said, "You're making me look bad. You keep going as fast as me." I said, "That's revenge for all the times that I wanted a 22 bus and I had to wait half an hour, but I can't avoid you people now that I'm on a bike." And he laughed. Now this little stretch of Clark coming up here by that CVS, and I think there's a Domino's there. Excuse me. That's a dangerous place to be, because if there's a car in the left lane that needs to get into the right lane, you gotta keep your eyes wide open all the time there. Well, all the time regardless, really. This is something I've observed on a bike. Why is it that people want to start crossing before they get to the crosswalk, and they practically rub up right against my wheel? Is it really that critical that you can't move a few more inches to get into the crosswalk where you're legally protected? If you heard that noise, I'm crunching ice. I'm an ice cruncher. I still haven't been to a Canella. There's one right in my neighborhood, and I still haven't been there. They must be good. They've been around a while. Or is it Canela? I don't know. Well, if I call them, they'll answer the phone. They'll say, "Thank you for calling Canella," or "Thank you for calling Canela." Then I'll know for sure, right? Note that I was already in the intersection before the light changed. Oh, that Mia Francesca. I hate that place. I've only been there once, so I guess once isn't enough, but I hate that place. I hated it. The food was mediocre and the service sucked. Went there before a comedy sports show once. In fact, it was the first time I ever went to comedy sports. I took a few of their improv classes and then realized, I'd rather just watch improv than be part of it. I mean, it was fun, but, for one thing, I'm a terrible actor. Oh man, remember being pulled in a wagon? I didn't have a wagon growing up, so if I were being pulled in a wagon, it was a friend's wagon. And I'm just gonna kind of walk my way up a little bit. Sometimes I walk up past the crosswalk into the intersection so I can have a clearer view of the cross traffic. I just might mute the video's audio entirely, because I'm talking over myself. That's weird. Can't understand what I'm saying, so... there's that wind again. Yeah, this intersection is really tricky to navigate sometimes, so yeah, just... Where is this? This is Clark and... oh, is this Sheffield crossing here? And yeah, I think it's Sheffield and Newport. This is a very tricky intersection to navigate, so you got to be really careful here. Especially on game days. Make sure... Well, a general rule when riding a bike is assume that nobody can see you. Here you want to do what you can to make sure that people do see you. By the way, I don't care that I lived in New Jersey for a while. I still consider myself a fourth-generation Chicagoan. My mother grew up in Bucktown. My grandmother grew up in Bucktown. Same apartment, too. And my grandmother's parents immigrated to Chicago. So, there you go. Salt and Pepper Diner. Is that still there? I don't think it is. That was good food there. My problem with it was they only accepted cash, and I rarely carry cash on me. Reason for that is if I get mugged, whatever cash gets stolen can't be replaced. Credit cards, though, debit cards, I can have them canceled and don't have to pay any things that were run up by the thief. So, yeah. That's why I usually don't carry cash on me. Cubby Bear on the left. I've yet to go to the Cubby Bear. This was tricky riding along this Jersey barrier back then. Oh, I think it was here where there was a construction sign telling people everybody must stop or something. I don't think it's in this video. Apparently I was the only cyclist who thought that it applied to, well, everybody. But it's not here in this video, so... But I remember that. And I remember thinking, geez, the frickin' sign says so. Anyway. Alright, I have a question for you. That place, is it Wrigley'sville Dogs or is it Wrigleyville Dogs? It says Wrigley'sville on the sign, but I think the receipts say Wrigleyville. It's kind of like that place in River Grove that used to be on Polk and Western way back in the 30s. Is it Jeans and Jude's or is it Jean and Jude's? It's written both ways. Yeah, skateboarder here. Skateboarders and scooterists annoy me. Oh, not nearly as much as rollerbladers. And what is it with these rollerbladers who go side to side? From what I remember from high school physics, the quickest way to get from one point to another is a straight path, not zigzagging. But no, these rollerbladers, they're zigzagging all over the place into the other lanes. Like, dude, what is this? Alright, admission here, I don't ride inline skates or any skates for that matter, so maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, so, hey. And right here I'm invoking the move as far to the right as safely as possible recommendation, so. Oh, and there's another 22 bus. Can't avoid them. Can't avoid them when you're on a bike. Sounded like it came from my bike. Maybe it blew a smoke or something. Oh, Irving. Is this Irving? Yeah, this is Irving Park Road. Boy, Park. Yeah, crossing it. I will. Or is it further up? It might be further up, actually. Seriously, that's Graceland Cemetery on the right, I think. You can hear me react to the potholes there. Yeah, there are a lot of holes in the road right around there. There's probably going to be a number 9 bus, an Ashland bus, parked up ahead because there usually isn't a stretch of Clark. Man, the road was in terrible shape. I don't know how it is right now because I haven't, or have I? Have I driven? No, I haven't biked this stretch of Clark in a while. It's been a few months. Okay, right here is the part that gets dangerous here. Because of that little island right there. Look at that, yeah. I hate that part. Once I'm past that, the most dangerous part of the ride, as I see it at least, is over. Usually around here, like, I'll get in that parking lane if there are no cars parked there. Again, moving to the right as far as I safely can. And that wind blowing up against the microphone. Okay, I think this is Montrose here. Yep, Montrose. 4400, excuse me, 4400 north. Sorry. Through this stretch of Clark, up through probably around Lawrence, you see a lot of bicyclists running stop signs. It's prime stop sign running territory. Right here. And trust me, I stopped. Try something here. Mute. overhead cables, and you know Chicago would screw those up. Okay, here's another stop sign that people like to run all the time on a bike. Coming up. Me, however, I will stop. Because number one, it's the law. Number two, we want people on our side. Work for the city. Yeah, Lincoln Towing, you suck. I hope you all die a slow, terrible, painful death. I hope that you live a long time, but that it's slow, miserable, and painful, so you can experience the pain you've inflicted on millions of Chicagoans throughout the decades. Andersonville now. I like Andersonville. When I was a part of the hunting, I was surprised at how cheap it was in Hendersonville, given how nice it is.
Hey, you're supposed to signal.
Yeah, I had no idea that car was going to pull out. But the car, that person did signal there. Now, if it looks pretty busy, sometimes I try to stay on Clark Street as long as I can. If I can make it all the way to Hollywood, great. But if it's really, really busy, then I'll bail earlier. Never on Foster, though. That's not a safe street to bike on. Yeah, I have the legal right to do it. Oh, Giordano's. It was nice having them in the neighborhood. What I don't understand is when Giordano's was moving in, people were all up in arms because, oh, we don't want a chain in Andersonville. Yet they were all happy when Pizza Hut moved in. I don't understand. And Giordano's is a local chain. It's Chicago-based. It's from Chicago. And it's good. I don't care what anybody says. It's good. It's yummy. Thin crust crust deep dish are both yummy. And here, I don't think I'm pedaling at all because the side streets off of Clark, they angle down. When you're going away from Clark Street, it's really fun. And this video is going to come to an end when I get to Ridge, I believe. Okay, stop sign here. I'm one of the few people who actually stops here. Stop, sorry, not stops. Pardon my grammar. Glenwood's a pleasant street to go down. At least until you get to Rogers Park, then it can be kind of, well, I'd say until about Loyola University. Once you get north of Loyola, Glenwood could be a little bit weird to navigate. Oh, and I hate these so-called traffic circles. Well, they're better than the real traffic circles, or rotaries, as some people call them. Roundabouts, as others call them. My dad called them turnabouts. They're fine for areas with very small populations, but large populations, no. Stop at the stop sign here. Make sure there aren't any cyclists going the wrong way there. So yeah, I do look both ways, even on one-way streets. Because you never know. Hey, I was walking my I was walking my dog down Early Avenue one night, which is a one-way street heading east. There was some jackass driving west down that street. It's like, yeah. I like Edgewater. Very pleasant place to live. Very inexpensive place to live, too. And it's at the edge of the water, so you can get to the lake pretty easily. I love living in Edgewater. That was Catalpa Street, Avenue, sorry, or as the automated menu system on Walgreens phone number says, Cal Talpa. Alright, this jerk's double parking there, but I guess I should have dinged the car there, so let's make a mental note of that. Whether that mental car ding is going to make a difference. And also remember there was a cyclist that I appear to have missed who should have gotten a ding. So let's remember that when the scores show up. Getting to the end, because here's Bryn Mawr. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that cyclist did not stop. So, yeah. There's no way that was not a stop. And then suddenly that cyclist was at full speed without any acceleration. We're approaching a ridge, at which point the video will come to an end. This is either Hollywood or I think it's Hollywood. Yeah. It's either Hollywood or no, it's got to be Hollywood because Edgewater doesn't go all the way through. Edgewater just comes to a dead end at Glenwood. Oh, you hear those bugs? What are those things called? They're usually out in the summer. They're not cicadas. Oh, there we go. There's our score. Pedestrians 4, motorists. Yeah, so even if I added in that one motorist and that one cyclist, it still wouldn't have made a difference. Cyclists were still the biggest violators in this video. And this time, the motorists won. Or the pedestrians won. Pedestrians... Was it the pedestrians? Yeah. Yeah. The fewest offenses were the pedestrians. And that was a little bit inaccurate. Sorry about that. But yeah, so far the score is pedestrians 1, motorists 1, cyclists 0 of the 2 videos that I've posted so far. So there we go.